And don't turn off the channel. You're not going to believe this one. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos today on chili, you'll think that making great chili is a matter of throwing a bunch of ingredients into a pot and stirring them together. But I'm going to share with you today that making great chili is following 3 basic rules. I was in the building business, building custom homes, and we always built houses from the ground up. I would say from the soil to the shingle. And that's kind of what we do in cooking. We build flavors from the ground up. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you step by step. And I guarantee when we finish today, you're going to be making masterpiece chili. Today I'm using 2 pounds of 80/20 ground chuck and 1 pound of pork sausage. You can even use Italian sausage if you want to. The sausage is totally optional, but I like it because it adds an extra subtle layer of flavor and richness without tasting like sausage in the chili. You're really going to like this addition. Alrighty, now it's time for the action. I'm heating up my pot over here, my skillet, and I'm going to take some of this Wagyu beef. You can use any kind of fat you want, but use something with a high smoke point. And then we're going to cook some beef, and I'm going to show you the proper way to cook your beef or your meat. If you stir your meat too soon, what you're going to do is you're going to be stealing some flavor from yourself. You need that flavor. The deep, rich flavor that we like in chili and spaghetti doesn't come just from the spices that we throw into the pot. It comes from browning the meat. It also gives you great texture. When meat hits that hot pan and you leave it alone, something almost magical happens in the cooking world. It's called the Maillard reaction. If you stir too soon, you don't brown the meat, you steam it, and steamed meat is bland meat. We don't want that. So spread it out at the bottom of your skillet, listen for the sizzle, throw the meat in. We're going to come over here and check it, see if we're building that crust yet. Looks like it. I want you to see this. See if I can get it up there on the camera. See how we're building that crust right there? This is a game changer right here, folks. You won't see this in any other video, I don't think. I left that meat alone. I haven't stirred it, and it's building color. It's building great texture. Now, what we're going to do now, it's time to go ahead and add our peppers or our onions. We're going to go ahead and throw our onions in there. I'm going to throw my bell peppers in there, my green bell pepper. And there's a little extra addition I'm going to put in with the bell pepper in just a little bit. I could do it now, but I'm going to wait until I put the tomatoes in. We're going to let that cook a minute, and we're going to let all those onions and peppers and get all that sweetness out of them. We can go ahead and stir our meat a little bit. And I'm going to show you what happens here. We're going to have some small pieces of meat, but I like having some of these bigger chunks in my chili because it gives a lot of texture. So I'm not really pulverizing the beef here. I'm just stirring it gently and breaking it up a little bit. I still want to leave a few of those bigger chunks in there. So let's let all those onions cook. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to help them sweat out a little bit. Not a whole lot. I'll go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of my garlic. We want to add that in last so it doesn't burn. I don't know if I told you this, but I have 3 B's to making great chili. What are those B's? The first step, we just did it. It's the browning of the meat. It's like building that house. Our first step was the browning of the meat. A great chili has to have tomatoes, and I have crushed tomatoes here. I have diced tomatoes. These are roasted tomatoes, really good flavor. And then I have my tomato paste here. And I'm going to show you a little trick with this tomato paste. We're not going to add the tomatoes yet because we have some other steps to do. But I'm going to show you a little trick that's worthy on this tomato paste that's going to help build a lot of extra flavor into your dish. I'm going to take some oil, put it into my little skillet over here. Get a good bit in there. Don't get that too hot, but you want it hot enough. And look how I took the top and the bottom out of this can. And all I'm going to do is take my fingers and push that right on out of here. I don't have to dig it out. I'm just pushing it right out. What we're going to do here, this is going to build flavor. We're going to take that tomato paste and we're going to cook it down a little bit for about 2 or 3 minutes until it gets a kind of a dark mahogany look. This is going to add a lot more flavor to your chili. You're going to like this trick. You can use it on a lot of different dishes wherever you use tomato paste. Now that looks good, and it's been on about 2 or 3 minutes. We're getting that good, nice mahogany look. I'm gonna just take that and set it aside because I'm not ready for it quite yet. I'm gonna bring my pot of chili, my meat back over here. And we're gonna continue with the next step of what I call the second B of making great chili. The first B was browning. The second B is this. I'm going to take my chili powder. These are my seasonings. Now, these are basic seasonings. Almost every chili recipe has these seasonings. Nothing special. We're taking basic seasonings and we're making really great chili. We're going to put in about 1/4 cup of chili powder. And I like using the dark chili powder. I love ground cumin because it gives us that earthy taste. Smoked paprika gives you that smoky taste. Dried oregano, and I like using Mexican oregano because it really has a depth to it. And then a little touch of cayenne if you want that little extra heat. Now, why do I use coriander? I think coriander is a great seasoning in chili because it brings that warm, citrusy note to your chili, and it lifts the chili and it keeps it from tasting heavy. A really important ingredient for great chili. Alrighty, our meat's looking real good. We've built that flavor into it. I'm going to take our tomato paste, that mahogany look. Hope you like that little trick there. Be sure to like our channel today. We're going to stir that in and let that marry in there for a minute or two. I'm going to let that cook about 2 minutes. I want you to notice how thick this is here. See how it's pretty thick right there? So what's happened, all that meat has absorbed all the flavor that we've put into this. Now it's time to start building our next layer here. We're going to take our crushed tomatoes. I got 2 cans. Now this makes about 10 to 15 servings, and I'm going to put a description below where I can cut this in half for you. But around our house, this isn't going to last long, and you can always freeze it. It's great to freeze, or you can make other dishes with it, especially some casseroles. We're going to pour 2 cans in there. Don't worry about the recipe. It's down below in the description box with some more details that you're going to like. We're going to pour those in there. I have 2 cans of roasted tomatoes over here. These are fire roasted diced tomatoes. Notice I buy everything from Walmart. Everything that I have on my videos, without exception, you can buy it at your local grocery store. Most of it you can buy at Walmart, but everything that I do is very easy and very affordable. We're going to pour those in there. We're not going to drain those off. You say that looks like a lot of tomatoes. Maybe we're making tomato soup here, but no, we're not. We're making great chili. What we're going to do now, stir all that really good, get everything mixed in together, and we're going to let that simmer here for about 10 minutes. And when we come back, I'm going to share with you the third B to making my secret to making really good chili. You're going to be amazed. I'm going to drop in some secret ingredients. You may never have seen these anywhere else. Remember I told you I went out and had a special impromptu special ingredient I'm going to put in. I went outside into my grill and I roasted a green bell pepper, and I'm going to throw that in there just to give it a little bit of a smoky taste. Not a whole lot, but that's going to give me a little bit more flavor in here. Now what I'm going to do is take 1 or 1.5 tablespoons of Better Than Bouillon beef base. We're going to put that in there. It's going to darken it up a little bit, give a lot more flavor. Let's go ahead and put all that in there, about 1.5 tablespoonful. Now we're about to get to the third B of making great chili. And what is it? Can you guess it? We had browning, blooming of the ingredients or the spices. What's the third B? We want to balance our chili. I've tasted this. It tastes really good. And if we stopped right here, this would be great chili. It would be better than 95% of the chili that you eat anywhere. This is really good chili right now. But we want to bring this up to another level. We want to balance it. And how are we going to do that? We're going to add a few more ingredients to it. You're going to be surprised. Now I have here about a cup of very dark coffee. I made some really dark coffee this morning. I'm going to pour in about a cup of that. You know how when you cook a steak and you do that, you do the searing on the steak and the flavor that it creates on the steak? Well, that's kind of what coffee does in chili. It creates that seared flavor. That dark roasted coffee really helps to balance this out. Now I've got another ingredient here that we're going to try out. You can use this sauce. I don't ever try to pronounce it. Worcestershire. That's the best I've ever done pronouncing that word. But I'd like to use another seasoning, Kikkoman soy sauce. But my favorite is actually using a little liquid amino, because I like this because it has a little smokier taste to it. And I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of it. I'm going to be real careful here. Stir that in there. And don't turn off the channel. You're not going to believe this one. We're going to add a little chocolate. I'm going to break it up and add it in there. It's going to put a nice little sheen on our chili. In fact, my wife said last night it was the prettiest chili she had ever seen. That was because of this. And it also gives another bit of depth to it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back here and I'm going to add 2 cups of beef broth. Add about 2 cups, which would be half of this container here. Well, you're going to make that real watery. Well, no, I'm not. It is watery right now. But what are we going to do? We're not going to thicken this with any thickeners. We're not going to add cornstarch or any kind of chips or cornmeal to this. A lot of people do that. I just like that rich, clean flavor to it. We're going to let this simmer uncovered on our stove on the medium heat, or just simmering for about an hour until this thickens up on its own. Don't forget the beans. I'm going to use some light kidney beans here. We're going to dump them into a colander, and we're going to rinse those off with water. Why do I do that? I don't know if you can tell it, but see how oily that is? I don't want that oil in my chili. So I'm going to put those in there, and that's 2 cans. And we only do this the last 20 minutes of cooking. You don't want to overcook these. We're going to run cold water till it runs clear. All right, I told you, you can thicken your chili with a lot of different things. We're going to thicken ours by reduction, by just letting it cook out. This moisture is going to cook out of it. And what's that going to do? It's going to build flavor. Now, we have our beans. We've rinsed these. Now, here's a way you can thicken your chili if you want to do it in a more natural way. Take some of these beans, stick them in a bowl, and mash them either with your hands or a masher. And those mashed beans will thicken your chili. It's a really good way to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dump these in here. Stir those in and let them simmer in here for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. If your food tastes a little rich after it's simmered that long and maybe it's kind of flat, it's probably missing one key ingredient. And chefs don't finish great food with more seasoning or salts. Here's what they do. They add acid. And a small splash of vinegar will wake everything up and bring excitement to the pot. It doesn't make the food sour. It brightens the flavor. It sharpens the spices. It makes everything taste like it's been finished. And that's why chefs add vinegar right at the very end. I do it all the time. And that makes the difference between good chili and great chili. We're going to garnish this up a little bit. Some avocado, a little lime. I love lime. We'll sprinkle a little fresh grated cheddar cheese on top of it. And then, of course, you got this little bit of sour cream. And what does that help do? It helps, again, balance it out. It helps cut some of that fat. And isn't that an absolutely beautiful dish? We didn't just throw a bunch of ingredients into the pot today from the grocery store. What we did today, we built flavor one step at a time. This is the way you cook. This is the way you make chili. This is the way you make spaghetti. And a multitude of other things. You layer the flavors in there one by one. Thank you for watching today. I hope you learned something. I want to hear from you. I love the comments that people give me, and I try to respond to every single one of them. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like the channel, push that little like button down there, thumbs up. And until next time, not only remember, love to cook. I'm John Woods, and I love to do that, but I cook to love, and I'm going to love cooking me some chili. Tell me all about it.